In the last session, we have seen how to import a source using Designer, Mapping Designer, Informatica Power Center tool, Mapping Designer. We saw how to import a source and how to import a target using ODBC data source, which you create in your machine by going to Control Panel, Administrative Tools. So now we have also created a mapping by pulling a source. Source qualifier automatically comes when you pull a source and then a target. We have created a very simple basic mapping. So this whole thing is called a mapping. So now in this session, let's see how to run this mapping by creating a session and workflow. So this whole part we have done in Designer tool. So now let's see what is workflow manager. So last session I've created m_employees mapping, and now I'm going to create a workflow which is called wf_employees, which will start with the start button and it will connect to a session called s_employees. So this session will call this mapping, and we can specify the source and target connections in the session. So when we start this workflow, this session will run and load the data from HR schema to target schema. So this is where we were in the last session. So we have created the mapping, and now let's open the workflow manager tool. So when we opened the workflow manager tool, automatically it opened the folder which was opened in Designer tool. So now let's go to tasks, create. So we can start with actually workflow designer tab here. So there are three tools: task developer, workload designer, and workflow designer. So we can start with workflow designer. So I'll go to workflows, create wf_employees. This is my workflow name. So it will automatically start with the start button, and I'll just go to tasks and say create tasks, s_employees. So it will show me all the list of mappings which are available in this particular folder, which I have created using Designer. So I need to connect the start button to this session. Yeah, so we have created a session. So we need to give some properties to this session. First property, fail parent if this task fails. So when this session fails, the workflow will automatically fail. Workflow is the parent of this session. So we want the workflow to fail when this session fails. So let's see later how this will affect if I don't check this box. So let me go to properties tab, and then source connection value and target connection value I need to specify. So before coming here, I need to create a relational connections. So I need to go to connections here, relational, and I need to create select Oracle here and then say new. So I will create with HR, name as HR, that is my connection name, and even the username is HR, password is HR, and connect string is XC. So the code page, which is very important thing when you create a connection, I am leaving it as default MS Windows Latin, but if you want to process multi-byte characters like Chinese or Japanese, so you have the option to select a lot of code pages. So by default, normal practice in production is to select it as UTF-8. It can process multi-byte characters, all language characters, but for this demo purpose I'm going to leave it as MS Windows Latin. So I'm done with the source connection. So let me create a target connection. So target is named as target, and it is connecting to target user, password, and XC is my connect string for the Express Edition Oracle. So again I'm leaving the code page as default. So I'm done with creating the source and target connections. I'm going to use that in my session now. I'm going to select HR connection for the source and target connection for the target. So where the session log file directory, where should the session log be created? I'm leaving it as default. It is $PM session log directory. I will show you where is what this directory means, what this variable means. I'm going to check the option write backward compatible session log file. I will tell you why I'm checking this option later. So config object. So save session log by session runs, how many runs I want to save this session log for log file. So I'm just going to give 5. So last 5 runs of this session, the log file will be saved. I'm going to come to the mapping tab now and come here to the sources and select the relational connection which I just created. Or even the better way is to do is to go to properties tab here, and then here I've already selected the $source variable. I've assigned it to HR and $target to HR target. So let me come here and say $source. That way it's a variable. It's not, we are not hard coding the source connection. So if I want to change my source and target tomorrow, I just need to change in one place, which is the variable which I'm assigning here. So everywhere it will automatically get changed. So I'm not hard coding it everywhere. So there are 2 options for the target load type, which is bulk and normal. So I'm going to select normal. I will tell you later why those 2 options are there. I'm going to select an option here, truncate target table. So each time I run this session, the table will be truncated first and then the table will be loaded. So I need to have this target connection need to have a truncate table privilege on this. So since my table is in target schema and I'm connecting with target schema, it will obviously have that privilege. So I'm going to save this and then run start task here. So when I start task, the data will start getting read from the source. Informatica will read from the source and automatically load to the target, and we can monitor that flow in the workflow monitor. So it will automatically open the workflow monitor screen for me. So it is showing this session as running now, and okay, let me check. This has failed for some reason, so let me check that. So I can right click and say get session log and see what is the error here. So I can sort by the severity. Fail to connect to database using target schema. So let me check what the error is. So I think I've given lowercase for the password of target. So let me just make it uppercase and try again. Okay, let me start this session again and then monitor here. So I'm just going to change, make a little change in my connection here, edit, and then I'll give localhost 1521 port /XC for the connect string instead of only XC. So I have a problem. My Oracle has a problem in identifying, Informatica has a problem in identifying what is XC exactly using my TNS names file. So I'm just giving a connect string here. And then for the target as well, I'm going to do that. Like this, and then I'm going to start the session here. So now you can see, you can monitor the progress of the session in the below window. So we can see source and target statistics came here, and 107 records got read from the source and 107 got loaded. So now we can go to the database and see whether those 107 records exist in the target schema. So they exist, 107 records exist, 107 got loaded from source to target. Yeah, next session we will see how to check the log file and what are the various session properties we can set in an Informatica session. Thank you.